Thank you for joining us on the show this evening. Well, let's return now to those shocking scenes we spoke about earlier in the program that we saw in Melbourne this week, where police and the media, for that matter, were targeted by feral anti-war protesters at the Land Forces Expo. Joining me now is Liberal MP Andrew Wallace. Andrew, thank you so much for joining me. You were actually at today's Expo. Take us through what you witnessed.
Well, Danica, what I witnessed was a whole bunch of hard-working Australians that are in manufacturing industries that are trying to keep Australians safe. That's what I witnessed. I saw many innovative engineers and designers. I know you want to concentrate on the protesters, but I want to concentrate on the hard-working Australians that were inside the shed rather than the rabble that were outside the shed. Because it's the people who are inside the shed that are enabling our ADF to be able to counter any threats that we're facing. And let's face it, we are living in the most geopolitically unstable period since 1945. And the people who were inside the shed were full of good, hard-working Australians, and a number of them were from the Sunshine Coast, and it was great to see them there as well. Well,
I mean, I have to say as well, the people inside the shed were doing what they need to do to protect Australia from the very thing that the people outside of the shed are calling for. And I know you want to focus more on what was going on inside, but we've got to talk about the chaotic scenes that we saw in Melbourne this week. I don't know what these people are trying to achieve. And have a look at this woman who even cemented her arm to the back of a car today.
I stand against New South Wales and Victorian Police Force.
That concrete has been replaced by handcuffs, and she's being questioned now and will be taken away.
Andrew, the scenes we saw were horrific, but I don't know what these people like this woman are trying to do. What do you think they are looking to achieve here with these stunts?
Well, I guess they're looking for a bit of notoriety, Danica. But, I mean, this really makes my blood boil, I've got to say, because the hypocrisy just knows no bounds. Because these people are professing to be pacifists. They're professing to be in search of peace, when all they did was, hurl abuse. They threw excrement. They even, assumedly, most of them are vegans, and they were even throwing acid on police horses. And, assumedly, they're also environmentalists, and they were lighting, they were burning plastic rubbish bins. You couldn't write about it, about the hypocrisy. So, and as for, the likes of David Shoebridge, a senator in the Australian Parliament being down there and stoking the fires of anti-Semitism and division, well, shame on them, shame on all of the protesters. I think the Victoria Police showed a great deal of restraint in only arresting the small number that they did, because if it had been up to me, there would have been a lot more arrested.
And I would say that's what a lot of people are thinking in their homes this evening, the exact same sentiment, Andrew Wallace. Now, let's talk about Labor's aged care reforms. It's been a big one in Parliament this week. How do you feel about what's on the table?
Well, I am pleased that the Labor Party have finally come out from under the shadows and have tabled the bill, because this is a bill that, it was subject to non-disclosure agreements, and this is what the Labor Party have done since they've come in. They came in under this facade of transparency and openness and integrity, and it's all a load of rubbish, because time and time again, we hear that stakeholders are being forced to sign non-disclosure agreements. And I know that that's what they did in relation to the aged care sector. They didn't want the aged care sector to come out and actually talk to us or anybody else about what was contained in this bill. So I'm very pleased that now the bill has been tabled. It'll go to a Senate committee, and the whole country will have an opportunity to pull this bill apart and see whether it is as good as what the Labor Party are making it out to be. I want to pay tribute to Anne Ruston, She's done a mountain of work on trying to knock off a lot of the barnacles of this bill. I know that Anne was also subject to Anne is the Shadow Health Minister. Anne was also subject to a non-disclosure agreement. It just, you just can't read about this stuff, that they are literally trying to tie people up so that no one will go out and talk about these reforms. If they had the courage of their convictions, Danica, they would be, they would have put the bill on the table and said, right, this is what we've got planned, and see what people said about it publicly. But that's not what this Labor Party does. It's not how they operate.
No, it's a complete cone of silence. Andrew Wallace, good to have you on. Really appreciate your time. Thank you for joining.